Well, that's a lot better.
Got this bolt in here. Stop it from blowing oil.
Well, that's the longest it's ran in a few years. My poor little bushing's kind of popping out here. Yeah, gotta run this a couple times, torque it down, find out why the choke is closed and it's still running. Figure that one out. It's a 1 inch. Yep. I'm just running this rubber hose until I get the thing dialed in, then we'll put the correct hoses on. But yeah, bleeding oil. But this thing was off and it was blowing oil everywhere. The idiot that did some of the motor work for me didn't put a bolt there. And the bigger idiot, me, didn't do anything about it because I just assumed it was stuck in place. And then here's the super rare cover. These just do not exist, gang. And you know what's kind of neat is that I want to say a 36 flathead has a similar one, but it's like an isotope of it. It's just the opposite, direction. The point here is over here. It's pretty neat. I remember finding one of those one time. I was blown away. I thought, wow, what kind of motorcycle did I find? So, step cam cover, early oil pump, really primitive. I've got some of these round ones. I think that is the M5 carburetor. I think either Mike Millay or Liberty Cycle rebuilt that for me. I think it was Mike Millay. He's the #1 carb guy. All the weird shit. 1 year only circuit breakers. All kinds of weird shit. So there's 4 oil bags in 36. I'm not an expert on 36 by any means, but it's pretty neat. And then it's the rounded frame, and then you can see here there's a telescopic, or I don't know if you can see that. It's telescopic right there. Pipe goes into pipe. These things, God, you have got to get lucky to get ones that work. This poor bike has a lot of work left, a lot. Shifter don't shift right, thing don't brake right. There's the 1 year only rear brake that Mr. Nick Muth was kind enough to trade me many years ago. First class individual. And this fender is actually a prototype rear fender. I have 2 of these. I don't know where the other one is. It's somewhere here. But that's how it was billed to me, was that it was a prototype. And then the chain guard goes here. I'm just going to get a knockoff. I'd love to get one of those 3-piece front crash bars, even as a knockoff, but whatever. I've just got a belt on it till I want to get this thing drivable, and then we'll go more stock. I've got the belt, or the chain in a box. Boy, when you don't know your motorcycles and you put a Indian 741 ignition switch on your 36 knuckle, that takes skill. That's 100 mile an hour. I'm sure it doesn't work. Just a super rare item. And there is the shift gate. I was really lucky to get this stuff. A guy sold me this this shifter, thinking it was off of another motorcycle. I can't remember the name of it. It was like a European bike. That's what he thought it was. And I told him, I think that's really a 36. And the guy said, well, it's for sale. You can just have it. You know, so I bought that, and lo and behold, that was a genuine 36 shifter. The poor bike needs just a lot of work, but it is a early 36, within the first 400, actually within the first 300 made. Needs a lot of work, a lot of smalls. All these 36 bikes, the brake pedal, the shifter pedal, all that weird shit is like 36 only. But you know, go look at the other YouTubes that are out there. There's some people that really know these bikes, because I don't really know anything. I just work on stuff. I'd love to get another blue one of these guys for that side, but that's okay. A lot of this weird stuff here is like 36 only. So, and then the forks, I want to say they're 36 only, because, well, there's some hidden Zerks in here somewhere. And there's, oh, there they are. I believe so. You can see where my finger points. Underneath there is a Zerk, somewhere back in here. There's 2 of them. And yeah, there it is, right there, right in the center. And they point like this, right? They don't. That's the orientation of how they point, and that makes the 36 one. But like I said, I'm not the expert on anything. I just feel really, really lucky to have this old wreck. I wish I could get a real mechanic that really knew these bikes where I live, because I need some real help. I've got too many projects, and I need people's knowledge and expertise. Oh, and then here we go. I was very fortunate to get this for the dash. Some people call it Darth Vader, but the skull dash, because it kind of looks like a skull, doesn't it? Right? I was very lucky to get that with that engine and the tanks and some other parts from a guy named Knucklehead George out in the Bay Area. I think he's retired from motorcycles, but another first-class individual that I was so lucky to meet up with back in the day, and did some horse trading. And yeah, I don't know, these bikes just grow on you. They're just so damn cool. They're so neat. And I had some other ones, like an idiot that I sold many years ago, that were just dialed in perfect. Somebody else did them, and they were dialed in perfect. They just fired up immediately. They drove smooth as silk. Wonderful bikes. The only thing I really don't like about is these batteries, these 6-volt batteries. I think that's a Drag Specialties, but they seem to always bleed acid, and it destroys that pan. That thing's just sitting like that. It's not supposed to really be like that. It sits lower, but I'm just getting it running and monkeying with it. Yeah, I need wiring done, headlight, horn, taillight. I got really lucky. The guy that sold me the fender years ago had the glass for this, and I've got that hidden in a cabinet. So, and then that 36, that's a 36 only rear stand. I think that they make a knockoff of that. If you're lucky enough to find one of these bikes or the parts, you know, don't be shy. Just go get the knockoff shit. Because, I mean, who the hell wants to spend $2-3 grand for a rear stand? It's ridiculous. I think back in the day I got lucky and got that for like $100. But yeah, personally I like crash stands, crash bars, just because if the bike tips over, like if you're not very careful, yeah, well, at least you're saving those gas tanks. And the gas tanks and the fenders, all this shit is just crazy money. I mean, I used to get these tanks back in the day for like $600 a pair, if that. And back then, $600 was like $6,000 now, you know. But and then there's the hockey puck. That's a brake light switch. I've got the chain for it. And then today, did I already say that? I put this bolt on here. I got to get with the experts and get one of those oil pressure gauges. Yeah, this poor bike needs a lot of loving. It's getting there. And there's what folks call banjo lines. Like I said, I'm not the expert on this stuff. I just like sharing it because I know my viewers like to see this kind of old stuff. There's your drain. There's another oil banjo line, banjo line, banjo line, banjo line, banjo line. They're just neat old bikes. They really are. And like I said, so here's the deal. On this frame, when I got it years ago, it was damaged. It was really monkeyed up and damaged. And, you know, you just really can't send this stuff to people that are, you know, you don't really know, you know, because they're just going to say, well, what frame? You sent us a frame. Where is it? I never saw it, right? That's how you get. That's why you have to learn this shit yourself, because people just like to keep your property. But I got really lucky. I sent it out to a guy who, I think in the last 3 years he passed away, and he repaired the frame. And he told me that somebody had monkeyed with this frame back in the day to make it to fit a 74 engine. So this is a 61 engine, and I just told him, just leave it as is, just make it a functional frame, and that's what we did. So this frame, it's a 1936. You could actually fit a 74 motor in it, which is a little bit bigger. And I said, just leave it like that. Let's just keep it that way. You know, keep some of the weird history of this thing. And right back in there, you can see the motor mount. A lot of this V-twin stuff is actually pretty good stuff. You know, I used to really hate it back in the day because I really preferred the original stuff, but good luck now. You know, good luck. I want to say a guy named Jim Inman did the tanks, did the paint scheme on the tanks. If you're watching, man, it's bitchin' cool, dude. And like I said, back in the day when I was building this bike, I just met some really fantastic first-class people, and they really helped me out because they knew I wasn't a flipper. I was going to build this thing, and I've driven it around before, but I'd started having problems with it, and I was just really pissed off, and I parked it. And, you know, if you follow my page or my channel, you know, I'm working on all kinds of crazy stuff. And like I said, I'm not the expert on anything. You know, I just go get the manuals and teach myself as much as I can, watch the smart people that are putting YouTubes up on how to do this stuff. And there's your cycle ray lamp, and there's the I think they want to call it a 3-bolt horn. It's kind of a big deal for the real hardcore collector biker builders. They like to have every last iota correct. I just kind of shotgunned it. And there's your square foot boards, Harley Davidson. Those are actually original. Gas does not like that rubber. It'll pop the rubber right off. But just use the knockoff stuff. The knockoffs are really nice. And there's, I think they call that an S hook, right? Kind of looks like an S. Yeah, so, well, gang, you saw it fired up and running. And now more fun work. One thing I noticed is it's running with the choke closed. So it's got some sort of major adjustment, because this should be open like this. You know, not like that. So we'll have to figure that one out. But at least it fired up and ran, which is huge. Get a oil gauge here. Get that squared away. And then, you know, there's some people that will take this off and just put a modern oil pump that delivers oil better, but, you know, then just buy a modern bike then, right? The seat tee is on the 36 is like a 1-year only type of seat tee. There's another weirdo thing. Some people tell you the seat pan too is a 1-year only, but I don't know. But this is going to be the absolute worst 36 knuckle you've ever seen. But it is bitchin' cool and it's mine. And so I'm going to need a switch. I'm going to need that switch, the correct switch. I'd take a WLA switch too, but yeah. But, you know, this Army stuff's good. It works. These are like really expensive gas caps. Other guys on the internet, they'll tell you what they are. I can't remember what it is, but the gas caps are like, these are silly money now. They're like $500, $1,000 for a gas cap. I mean, get real, you know? That's just crazy. But truthfully, I really think we're in the end days of these kind of bikes being found as parts or anything. I'm glad to see that there's a lot of folks building like the J's and the JDs and the early Harleys, and people are making all those parts for them, which is really cool. You know, put them back on the road. And so this is my focus right now. I got I got this guy to wrap up this summer, and I got that BMW out in the back, the 71 2002. And the poor Alfa Romeo Dad's Alpha needs a clutch, and it needs a electronic fuel pump. The 55 Porsche needs a electronic fuel pump, but I'm running the high octane and putting a lead additive so it doesn't vapor lock. We'll see how that works out. But you know, the bummer about having those kind of cars and these kind of bikes is people want to steal them, or they harass you to buy them, or you know, you get some idiot that's drunk that hits you, and that's the end of it. Because the courts and the judges protect drunk drivers. I don't care what you say, but that's the truth. They are protected. I don't know why, but they are. What else am I working on this summer? That is really it. The pontons, I don't even have the time or money to do those. Yeah. So, but if I can defeat the labor cost and just have a parts cost, I'm good. But yeah, all right, gang. So the long-awaited firing up of my 36. Yeah. Oh, and then these are 36 only. They don't have that little flag on the bottom that you see on the later ones. The later ones have like a little flag. It'll be 40 something, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47. But yeah. So there it is. A real restoration shop would just be snobbed out, just looking at this going, what a pile of shit, right? But that's okay. I really don't care. I'm having fun, and that's all that matters. Motorcycles are really my salvation. Next to the guy that went to the cross 2,000 years ago. Yeah. All right, gang. There it is. I'm going to keep you posted on this guy. Hopefully the next video I do is going to be on the BMW. I've got to recruit some of my friends to come over and set the timing with me. It turns over, but there's no spark and there's no ignition. There's no detonation, right? So it's getting closer. So, all right, gang. We will catch you on the next YouTube. This one's kind of long-winded. I'm just kind of excited that I got it running. That's bitchin' cool. I wish I had a gauge that told me what the charge of the battery was. Like, so I got this guy here for the BMW bike, the R1200C, and this tells you the current charge. And then on the BMW wagon, I have a C-Tech, I think it's a 7002, which tells you the charge of the battery. So you always know if it's 50%, 75, or 100. I would love to have a battery charger for this guy that would really tell me, because this little guy here, although it works, it's kind of just I don't know, it's kind of Mickey Mouse. It just tells you either it's charged or it's not, and I'd kind of like to know the state of the charge. You know, is it halfway or whatever? Oh, looks like we're still bleeding. Okay, whatever. More fun. The fun never ends. All right, gang, we'll catch you on the next YouTube. You gotta love that seat, huh?